Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today, man, do we have some enjoyableness to talk about. CoD has been doing this developer feedback for a little while now, and this is something that I will routinely go through the suggestions channel and just touch on. I like going through the suggestions just so I can give you guys my insight. We'll read through suggestions. We'll talk about the pros and cons. Do I think this is a good suggestion? Do I think this one maybe needs a little more work? Do I think maybe this wouldn't work right now? And then we started seeing that the devs were coming out with this developer feedback monthly suggestions where they would pick whether it be the highest rated ones and then give us a little bit of insight into them and their thought process. And I just absolutely loved it. So we're going to be covering the third one, which just released today. So I'm pretty excited to go over this. And let's jump right in. So Asya has been, I think, the one mostly posting these. But here's the third one. Again, we're going to go through them all. There's actually not that many this time compared to the second and the first one. There was a lot more in those. So this will probably, for the most part, be short when it comes to reading the questions and a little bit longer when it comes to my responses. So, number one, don't remove the union system. Gotta get some agua. Thank you for your feedback. We understand that the union feature was welcomed among players and played an important role in fostering cooperation among alliances. However, our intention, that is, I think, a good word to use on their part, was to encourage more strategic and dynamic gameplay and individual diplomacy between alliances. We've received a lot of feedback regarding the union system, and we have plans on adding a limited union feature in later seasons. Now, I'm wondering if this is basically what they said, which is that in Season 2, you'll be able to form a union but with only one other alliance. So maybe that's it, or they're planning to do more than that. Obviously, this answer doesn't clarify that. And let me just at least comment on the general answer provided. I, for one, like the idea of union systems because of how it allowed for multiple alliances to fight together in more than just saying, hey guy, would you like to team up? Sure. You take the pass, and then I'll take the pass. And then that's basically what it's become, is you had a system that was in place where you were able to form unions in Season 1 up to 3 unions. So you could arguably have 4 alliances that are together. And then you can all do the pass at the same time. You get to avoid friendly fire. There were some good, if you were looking objectively at the benefits of the union system, it made a lot of sense, and I felt they were going in the right direction with it. Do I think that this is a little impulsive for them just to immediately remove it without actually having a long track record of data that you can compile over multiple seasons and multiple kingdoms and merge kingdoms to then say, okay, we've been doing this for a year, or we've been doing this for 6 to 8 to 9 months. I think we have enough data, and it's showing us that this could be better, or is better, if we were to remove it or start kind of taking it, trolling it back a bit. And I just don't think I don't think there's any data that supports at the moment them removing the union system. Now, when it comes to the part they mentioned here about individual diplomacy, remember, you're still doing individual diplomacy anyways. I mean, that's not really a change. You're arguably having to go, like in my person-to-person example I just gave with my self-roleplay, is you're still having to go to alliances and reach out to the lead, have a communication back and forth, and see if you're even interested in wanting to work together. It doesn't matter, if you strip everything away, it doesn't really matter if the union system is in there because you're still going to be able to do these things regardless. The union system was more of a benefit because it allowed for multiple players from multiple alliances to access a pass back and forth, and more importantly, it allowed for you to avoid friendly fire. Now, those are things I actually really liked. That doesn't mean that I think those could never be removed at some time, but I liked it enough because it was different the way that they're approaching it, and I just would have loved for there to be a little bit more time they took before they made what I would consider to be an impulsive decision and a big change. Right? We're not talking you're going from 3 union alliances down to 2. No, they went from 3 to 0. Then they got pushback, and then they said, okay, we're going to add 1 in, the ability to union with 1 alliance in the second season. So to me, it just felt like a little bit too much of a knee-jerk reaction, and instead, let it go, and then kind of slowly put it out there that this is what you're thinking, but you at least want to test the things out, and you should want to get feedback from the community. So anyways, number 2, please utilize the new Patch Notes channel. This game is going through a lot of changes, and people are subscribing to that channel to keep up with everything going on. The community is excited. Thank you for your suggestion. We have taken note of it. Okay, so this is just, hey, use the Patch Notes channel. I'm in favor of this. Great suggestion. Thank you. Number 3, we should be able to make custom alliance banners. This is actually pretty cool. I actually like this suggestion. At the time being, we don't have plans to add this feature on a permanent basis. However, we will be hosting similar community events in the future so players can submit their alliance banner ideas. This to me is cool, but I want to point out you have to look at both sides of it. This could also become, I don't like to throw out the word toxic, but this could be something that people can take advantage of, where if they're able to upload their own image, then that can be a challenge, right? I think a better compromise here is for the developers to add more ways to customize. More symbols, more colors. Maybe you can add some word there. Maybe they give you, think of it like those of you guys who've played Halo, right? And again, if you've played any game, right, that you have some type of custom mode feature where you can go and customize a map, right? This is something that they could do with CoD. They just give you a plethora amount of options, and they allow for you just to do deeper customization with the banner. I think that's a healthy medium. Number 4, adding Battlefield 5v5 or 10v10 where people can build teams with equal power and fight each other can be super fun, be competitive with leaderboards. This is actually something that I have spoke about in previous videos, and I absolutely love this suggestion. I think the fact that you're creating an environment where you can pretty much outplay your opponents through the use of tactics and strategy, where the numbers are the same, but it's just the way that you go about using the same tools that another group or individual has, I think is amazing. That's what I want to see out of the PvP in CoD. I speak about this when we are doing analysis or we're doing some color commentary on big wars. To me, the most important thing when I'm watching PvP is not you being able to just outpower your opponents because you have more power than them. What I want to see is you out-strategizing, out-coordinating, outplaying your opponents, rather than you just coming in because, again, you have, and this isn't a slight at anyone, right? It's just, again, I think that there's more value in seeing that than seeing, a 100 mil alliance crush a 40 mil alliance, as an example. We received similar feedback on previous player suggestions, and our dev team is working hard on similar plans. This is actually cool. I love this response. So that's dope. Number 5, what do you think about adding some flying hero to Cavalry? You guys and your Pegasus campaign that's been happening here. Thank you for your suggestion. We will consider adding flying cav in the future. I mean, that's about what I would expect. You already said, question 6, you already said or suggested, you already said this game has a 3D map to involve strategy, you've river, higher ground, etc. Why not make forest hide your troops? Either unless you get inside the forest, see what's in there, or you need to be close to the forest to show what units are there that would allow ambushes, trying to move stealthily, etc., etc. At least the UAV that is in the sky showing me everything everywhere wouldn't be able to spot in some places. So basically what they're saying is they want to have some type of League of Legends thing where you can go and you can send your champion in the brush, and the only way you can check it is if you go in the brush or you throw some type of scout item, right, to see if they're in there. Response. This is pretty interesting. Thank you for the suggestion. We might consider adding these features in future game modes. Again, I don't think this is a bad idea. Is it something that they could add to the Kingdom map? They could. Could I see this maybe being tested first in some type of Alliance versus Alliance or some type of 5v5, 10v10, 50 versus 50 type mode first? 100%. So not against that. I also want to point out that just so people know, right, because it has been confirmed, unless there's been some type of shadow update or nerf that I don't know about. But again, when you're on higher ground, you don't actually get more distance when you're shooting and firing on people. You can simply test this out by taking 2 units and having the unit that's on the lower ground go and attack the units that's on the higher ground. And you'll see, or better yet, you have the unit that's on the higher ground go and attack the unit on the lower ground, and then have the unit on the lower ground then attack the higher ground unit, and you'll notice they don't have to move. Because if you had now, I believe that's how it should be, right? You should get something like a 10% increase in range difference when you're on high ground versus low ground. I think there should be something there. Number 7, please add, I don't know what this is, and a decrease sign on the power rankings on the alliance rankings, just so we can see who is being stagnant and who is gaining power. Make it so that the status keeps the status for as long as they are not gaining points. We understand the importance of tracking progress, and we'll consider implementing this feature in one of our future updates. Interesting. So basically what they're saying is, what this person's suggestion is they would like for the game to have something in there that shows if they have increased power or decreased power. Now, I want to point something out. I am a big fan, and I'm always going to be in favor of a developer adding in more quality of life utilization within an alliance. I really think, to me, that is something that could actually be a future aspect of what Kingdom Builders turn into, where they really treat it, where they're actually giving you tools to appropriately manage. So it's just less work that you have to do as an alliance, right? Because basically what this suggestion is saying is they want to add in a way where it can be made easier to identify inactive players, right? Because at the moment, if you want to do it in the most efficient way, you pretty much have to track that yourself. You would get a spreadsheet and you would basically track power and tech donations at a bare minimum every 2 to 3 days. And then you would look at what the intervals are, what the gaps are, or what the gains are, if any, every 2 days, every 2 to 3 days. And then you would say, okay, well, a few of these people have only gained 5,000 power in 2 days, or some of these people have only made 5 donations in 3 days. Those are indications that those people are probably not active. And that's usually where you do something like you send them a message and you let them know, hey, right, this is why we're removing you. And, if you come back or you decide to be active again, right, please let us know. And then you go ahead and you remove them. So again, I am not against this. I actually like it. And I think this is something that would be really cool. I think if you want to take it to the next step, what you could do is where you get either some type of daily, every 2 or 3 day report where it tells you what the gain was, like out of the max gain, right? So as an example, like on tech donations, like here's the max amount of tech donations that could happen in a 24-hour period. This is the amount of donations that this player gave from reset to reset, just as an example, right? That's something that could be cool, where you get a daily report on that, or a report every 2 to 3 days. The power one, I think, would be a little more difficult to do something like that because there isn't really a maximum. I mean, there is, but as far as a soft max, right, outside of training troops. But I do think it'd be nice to see what the plus gain is. So if it showed you something such as like a daily report that said, hey, this player is plus 500,000. This player is plus 137,562. This player is negative 3 or 4 million, but maybe they did a lot of fighting, right? So it makes sense. I think that would be cool to see because that could shed some light and also help when it comes to doing a little bit less on your own. Then we get to number 8, add more gathering heroes. I don't think we have enough currently. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is just a no-brainer. I don't necessarily know I want to point something out. Some of these suggestions, it's not like we have to tell them, right? This is something to me that I just assume is going to happen. It's just going to take some time. The response is, yes, we have plans of adding more gathering heroes. However, we need some more time for designing new heroes. Yeah, and I mean that makes sense, right? And I want to point out, I like the fact that there is not a plethora of heroes out right now. I am actually enjoying the fact that they are steadily releasing heroes at what I would consider to be optimal rate. They're not trying to come out with like 2 or 3 heroes every single update. Even in this most recent update that we covered, right? That's going to be releasing on the 20th of April. They don't have any heroes they released in it. And guess what? I'm okay with that. I am. I like the fact that they are pacing themselves. And to me, that shows a level of resolve and patience in what they are hopefully planning to invest in for the long run. Now let's talk about suggestions not considered for the time being. Right? This is always interesting. Number 1, reduce the Legion capacity size. With the new update, the new Legion capacity size is just ridiculous. So they're not going to consider changing that. I'm going to be honest. I'm I am on the fence about this, because on half of it, I understand why people are suggesting it, because maybe it just takes a long time to train troops. Maybe with the amount of fighting they're doing, it just takes that much longer to get back into the fight with an actual full march. Like, I can understand it from that side. The other side of it is you can then make the argument, well, okay, well, maybe alliances and kingdoms need to take more care in how they develop themselves, so that way the game isn't just going to be constant fighting and constant war in kingdoms all day long, to where you can actually have a lot of troops saved up for when you get into the merge kingdom. And then I'm going to give you a third door here, which is if they were, when you get to a merge kingdom, change the way that the gates open. Like we've talked about a lot, I'm still in favor of the level 2 passes open first, so you can go to zone 2, then level 3 passes to go to zone 3, and then lastly, the level 1 passes will open where you can go to adjacent zone 1 regions. That's the way I would like to see it happen, at least when it comes to merge kingdoms. Home kingdom, I mean, to be honest, I think it's okay. Number 2. Bring back the 2 legendary tokens per day on VIP 10, this upcoming official release. I mean, again, when they make a change like this, the likelihood of them reverting to something that big, that essentially just slows down progression for everyone, right? Because they maybe want to make the game last longer, or the player progression last longer before people hit max level. Like, I can understand that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not really on either side of it, but I can understand why they would make the change because of what they're looking to do long term. Number 3, give option to players to skip conversations altogether. I know there's skip buttons, but you have to keep clicking. One time I should skip. I actually am okay with this. I like it because it's something that you have to invest time to get rewards from. And I think that is something that I'm always going to be in favor of, right? Because that really favors more of the free-to-play than it does those who are spending money at kind of that mid to high spender level, as an example. Number 4, the creators of Rock should add day and night mode. I'm going to be honest, I'm actually okay if there's no day and night mode. If they added day and night mode, would I be okay with that? Sure. Do I think there'd be more work on them? Because what if you're fighting at night and they just have to probably do a lot? I don't even know what that would entail, right? Do they have to do a lot of coding, a lot of other back-end work to change how the visuals are going to display? Could there be complaints for people maybe misclicking at night? I mean, there could be a plethora of hurdles. So do I think that if the wheel's not broken, let's not try to fix it? In this case, sure, I do. Number 5, allow our ghost heroes to move like flying units so they don't have to follow the roads or whatnot and can go through mountains and across bodies of water. This is actually a pretty cool suggestion. So I'm going to fire some shots here, the fact that they put this in the not considered, because I actually think this is pretty dope. Just as an example, the fact that they said they're ghost heroes and they should be able to move through and basically walk through walls and terrain, I think is actually really smart. I like how there was some thought put into this suggestion. So I'm just going to say, for shame on you for not considering to add this, but it is a good suggestion. I like it. Okay, that is going to do it for me. Man, I want to hear what you guys have to say on this. I think this is actually a nice developer feedback that they gave, right? They didn't try to overload you with a lot of suggestions here, but I do like some of the ones that they chose to focus on and some of what we're hearing. So this is pretty cool for me. With that in mind, that is going to do it. As I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have a different opinion? Let me know there. I'm out. Until next time, I will catch you later.